Check this out. This tank top that Bang is rocking was made by hand, and it's easier than you think. We'll show you how. Welcome to Rubbly Workshop. Welcome back to the first Rubbly Workshop for 2025. I'm Brad, and today you're probably noticing something different. We have a guest. Yes, last year we taught you the basics. This year we're making bigger things you can actually hang in your wardrobe or hang on your mates. Such as this super easy tank top for our model here, Bang.
Meow.
Some of you may know them as our illustrious runner-up for Mr. Sydney Leather 2024 recently.
I'm going to spotlight, I am bankrupt.
So, Bang, tell our viewers a bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, I was 2024 runner-up Mr. Sydney Leather as the first non-binary person to ever enter the title.
Nice.
Right. I'm also an editor, facilitator, and spokesperson for Sydney Leather Queers.
Nice, very well achieved. Well, a lot of editing to do here, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, you might be thinking, Brad, this sounds like a lot of work. I'm no pattern maker. Well, I'll let you in a little secret. Neither am I. But in a world of YouTube tutorials, you'll be amazed at how much you can learn, so pay attention in class. Here's a tank top I made during the plague in this cool, translucent natural latex. I'd like to thank Clod and his video with Recon that taught me a thing or two.
Today we are here for making rubber with Clod.
I learned from this one a while ago and wanted to include his tank top on our workshop series for all of you. You can find it on Clod's Instagram and the link is in the description. So let's start with your latex toolkit. If you don't have one, then start from episode 1 of this series. Links in the description. You'll need at least 1 by 1 meter sheet of latex too. Maybe a little more for plus sizes. If you're unsure, grab 2 meters. You'll have plenty of latex left over for other small accessories. Easy gifts for your friends. You'll need some cardstock. I found Officeworks has these cardboard sheets. They're 510 by 635 mil, so I bought a couple in white. Anything roughly that size should be enough to draw your pattern on. I have a few meters of latex on this roll. For this project, I'm using 0.4mm turquoise sheeting from Radical Rubber. Now, we need some numbers. We have a worksheet you can print and fill out, which makes measurement taking easy. The link is in the description. Let's start. Let's grab our tape measure. All right, Bang, time to get up close and personal. Let's see what we're working with. First, we'll want to measure the chest, which is measurement A on your worksheet. So, like this.
Okay, just like my cops.
So there we have 86 centimeters. It's important to not measure that too tightly. When you get the tape measure around, just like so, just bring it as loose as it will go. On the waist, put that around, we have 72.5 centimeters. And on the hips, we have 81 centimeters. Length of shoulder to the hips, 52.2 centimeters. So that gets put to D. And measurement D, length of bottom of neck to hips is 50 centimeters. Now that we've got the measurements we need off Bang, we can start doing some of the quick maths to work out some of our other numbers.
Maths, you lost me at numbers.
I know, but trust me, this math is the fun kind.
If you say so. Is there any kind of fun kind of math?
Latex maths, they didn't teach it in high school.
I might have paid more attention if they did.
So you'll need to make the following calculations. Divide the length of the bottom of the neck to the hips, E, by 3. We'll use this to set where the horizontal lines go, F. Now we need to work out how tight it's going to be. We do this by bringing in the chest, waist and hip measurements in a bit. Usually we knock off 10% if you're working with thin 0.2mm latex, but 5% is good on the 0.4mm latex sheeting we're using. That's what we're using today, but you can adjust this number to taste later on when you do this often. We'll call this number G, and we'll write 5% as 0.95 because that's what we'll multiply other numbers by to knock off 5%. Take the hip measurement C and divide it by 4. This is because the pattern we're drawing is 1/2 of one side of the tank top. Now multiply it by the amount we wrote in G, 0.95. Now we have a number to write in H. Let's do the same for the waist. Take the number in B, divide it by 4, now multiply it by G, and put that answer into I. For the chest, we'll also do the same. Take A, divide it by 4, now let's multiply it by G, this number goes to J. Now you've got all the numbers you need to start out, we can make tank tops. As you get more experience, you can adjust these numbers to experiment on new outfits. I think Clod put it best when he said,
There's not right or wrong, it's just your taste and you can do whatever you like.
with the cardstock in portrait orientation, draw the following lines. At the very bottom, find the center, rule a line upward to the length of E, that's the length of the bottom of the neck down to the hips. The very bottom of the sheet is the hips. Using the number in F, mark a dot up that amount from the bottom of the first line. That's 16.7 centimeters that we had. This dot is for the waist. Then go from that dot again by that amount. Another 16.7 centimeters. And mark another dot. Let's go another 16.7 centimeters up. This dot is for the chest. At the absolute bottom of the sheet, make a line from the center line to the right by the length of H. For us, H is 19.24 centimeters. At the dot for the waist, let's make a line from the center to the right by the length of I, which is 17.2 centimeters here. There we go, 17.25 centimeters thereabouts. Good enough for Australia. At the dot for the chest, let's make a line from the center to the right. By the length of J, that's 20.4 centimeters for us. No harm in bumping it up to 20.5 centimeters on our ruler. We're going to figure out where the shoulder strap should start. For this, let's place the ruler along the chest line. Let's measure about halfway along the line we made. There's no hard or fast rule with this measurement. The closer to the left we mark the dot, the wider the shoulder strap can be. But this is a good spot. Place your ruler vertically against this dot that we just made and mark a dot from the very bottom up to the length of D, shoulder to hips. That'll be 52.5 centimeters from the bottom of our pattern. This may be the first time that many of you have used a French curve. It's really not too complicated. Notice how the French curve goes from being a very flat to a very aggressive curve. There's no golden rule with how you use these rulers. Depending on your taste and the design you're trying to achieve, you can use the ruler at any position to achieve a curve that's closer to a straight line, or one that's more aggressive and moves more circular. You don't need to be an expert to use a French curve, but that's the TLDR of how to use the French curve. Watch as we use one in the next step. Now, let's draw some smooth lines from the hip to the waist and to the chest. You don't have to use a French curve ruler like we are, but it helps. Going up to the shoulder is a little different. Let me show you how. For the last curve, we need to know how wide our shoulder strap will be. I'm going to go back to that dot we made on the chest line earlier. It was about halfway down the chest lines, so I'm going to go halfway again from the dot I made to the end of my line and make another dot. It's 5.25 centimeters to the right. 5 centimeters thereabouts is a good width for the shoulder strap. Now, I'm going to take my ruler to that new dot and reach up to the height where the top of the shoulder dot is. So there's about 20 centimeters between there. We want the shoulder strap to come down a bit diagonally, so we'll take 2 centimeters off and make a dot over here. That's 2 centimeters lower than the top of the shoulder dot. That's the dot we're going to be curving to from the chest. Let's do this. We'll use a more aggressive section of the French curve to make a tighter curve between these 2 points. Using a ruler, we can join those 2 dots for the shoulder strap like so. Let's curve from the shoulder strap line to the center line. That's basically the back collar for the tank top. For the front collar, it has to sit lower, so using our ruler, we'll measure from the top to the chest line and make a dot about halfway down. Depending how low you want this to go, you can adjust this. Like Clod said, it's to your taste.
Clod is to my taste.
After that, we'll take the French curve and make a dotted line from the shoulder strap line to the dot we just made. Why is it dotted? Easy. I'll explain more soon. Let's roll on. Now, let's add 1 centimeter for the glue seams. Periodically along these lines, we'll mark out 1 centimeter along the lines that do need gluing. Now, carefully join the dots like so. We'll use our French curve to carefully do that. So, It's pretty simple. This section gets glued, so does this, and this does not. Now we're ready to cut out the pattern. If you have a large cutting mat, set it up and tape it in place. It makes life easier. For me, I have these mats and I'll tape them together. The larger the mat space, the less likely you need to stop during long cuts. Let's use the ruler to help us cut along the center line. Now do the same for the straight line we made for the shoulder strap. The rest of it is all curved now. We'll do that freehand. We'll cut along the rear collar line we made. Now we'll cut along the dotted lines and save the piece that we'll make. I'll draw a couple of shapes to help guide this piece back in place when we tape it on. The reason we do this is because we don't need to draw a second pattern piece for the front and rear. We tape it on when we want a rear piece. This helps keep the symmetry of all the lines we drew. Now we'll cut along the side here. And we have our pattern piece we cut out. We'll tape this bit on in a little bit. Today we're working with Radical Rubber's turquoise latex sheeting, 0.4mm thickness. We'll place our pattern on the latex and tape it down in parts using low tack masking tape. Normally I place the pattern more efficiently on the latex to get the most value out of it, but in the top just out of shot, it's a bit janky from small bits cut off it, so this will do. I just need to use this section and move on. I'm working shiny side up. Given this is a simple pattern, it doesn't really matter what side we're working on, as long as shiny side is facing out when it's all put together. Using your chalk marker, mark out the pattern on the latex, like so. I really recommend the chalk marker because it moves the fastest along latex. It's also the easiest to clean as well. Lighter coloured latex can absorb inks from pens if you're not careful. Now, carefully flip the pattern across to complete the other half and tape it down like so. The reason we did a quarter pattern like this is so the curvy lines could stay symmetrical and they'll better match up when we put it all together. Let's finish the drawing, then pull up all the tape. Use a chalk marker to mark the inside of this piece as the front piece. Let's cut the front piece out. Using a fresh blade, cut along the inside of the chalk lines. Try not to make any stops. This is where a nice big cutting mat is super helpful. Now we have our front piece cut out. Not bad. Now, this is what I mean about attaching that piece we cut from the pattern earlier. Line it up and make sure it's in the right spot from the shapes we drew earlier, checking they're lined up. When it's good, tape it on with some masking tape. Away we go. Let's grab some more latex sheeting. This time, we'll be a bit more efficient at using it, lining up the straight bottom of our pattern to the straight edge of the latex, bottom of screen. We'll tape that pattern down and keep it in place. Using the chalk marker, draw the front piece. Remove all the tape except the center. Flip the pattern again like so. Finish the drawing, remove the tapes and pattern. You're now ready to cut the rear piece. Cut along the inside of the chalk markings. Nice clean cuts like before. Mark this piece as the rear piece. Time to tape off the seams we're going to glue. Here, we're working on the dull side of the front piece. Typically, you glue the front pieces on top of the back pieces, so the glue goes on the dull side of the front piece, like we're doing here. All our seams are 10mm. When you get good, you can eyeball this, but you can also use a ruler and a gel pen to mark some dots to help you place the tape. When placing tape along curves, many small pieces of tape along the curve is usually the best method, just like we're doing here. Let's do the same for the rear piece. Making your own latex gear, we've got you covered. Our Crafter's gift box is perfect for DIY projects like this tank top. It's packed with most of the tools you need, so all you have to do is grab the right glue and solvent and you're good to go. And if you love keeping your latex looking flawless, we've just launched larger 300ml bottles of Shine by Rubberly. More shine, better value, and ready to keep your latex gleaming. Check out everything at rubber.ly and support the channel while you shine. Get your face mask and gloves on because we're working with some glue and solvent now. You have to be safe with it. If you fuck around with glue and solvent, your only options after that are mahogany or pine. Scrub the seams with solvent. Now do the same for the front piece. Pour out some glue into a glue dish. I wasn't too happy with how thick this glue was, as I've had it for a while, so I've added a little solvent. We're going to thin it out a bit. I'll stir the solvent into the glue and get it to a nice even consistency, to the thickness we're after. Glue the seams on both pieces. When they're all done, wait 5 to 10 minutes for all the curling to relax. Now, let's join the seams carefully. It's easy to start with the shoulder straps, matching edge with edge, and being mindful to not stretch either piece as well. Otherwise, they won't line up properly. Don't hesitate to pull up a bad seam and reattach it again properly. The glue won't cure for a good while, so take your time to get it right the first time. The long seams can be a bit tricky. There's more risk of stretching them, so take your time. When we're happy with everything, let's use the seam roller to finalize it all. If there's still a bit of overlap, we can trim those neatly with the rotary cutter. It's very rare to get long seams to be perfect. Pull up all the tape from the seams with the solvent, clean the remaining chalk and any stray glue that may be around. Once we're happy with everything, we'll coat the top in talcum powder, inside and out. It's great because it retards any stray glue that we might have missed. It also stops the latex from sticking where it shouldn't. We'll leave it for 24 hours so the glue can cure. After 24 hours, it's time for a wash. We'll use a bucket of water with a tiny squirt of dishwashing detergent. Now we'll rinse the top in a bucket of clean water. When the powder is gone, we're ready to shine it up. With a bucket now half full of warm water, I'll add a quick squirt of Dip Shine by Rubbly. Dip the top and swish it about, not forgetting to turn it inside out to ensure that everything is shiny. Nice, this tank top is just the beginning. What project do you want to see us tackle next? Let us know in the comments. Liking this? We've got more latex DIY coming, so hit that subscribe button and don't miss the next one. Well, if you made it this far, congrats. We hope you've learnt something new today. We were teasing it at the start of the show, but we saved the best till last. How does Bang look in this tank top? We went out to the city to find out. Don't they look great? And the best bit, you can too. This is such a super easy project that allows you to add another top in another colour to your wardrobe. It's also great if you want an easy gift to make for someone. And it gets better from here. Once you've mastered this, you can try adding zippers, trims, appliques. Get creative, really make it your own design. I'd like to thank you, Bang, for being part of this. And if you want to follow Bang, their socials are on screen now and in the description.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Other credits go to Clod for inspiring this episode, from a video he put out years ago. Details below and in the video description. Also thanks to Sian-Kate Mooney for her book, Making Latex Clothes. A very handy book for researching what we make and the techniques we use. It's a handy book to have, and we've got a link in the description for where to find it. We still find ourselves going back to it even after all these years. And before we wrap up, a huge thank you to everyone supporting Rubbly, especially those of you buying our latex shine. Want to see your name in the credits here next time? Head to ko-fi.com/rubbly because every coffee fuels more latex goodness. We'll be back soon teaching another tutorial, so if you're not in class, you'll need a note. Stay rubbery.